The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
That music you just heard, it's available on iTunes. Catch it over at iTunes, 20x20crew.com/podcast/iTunes. Welcome to the show.
I got one more that I don't know if I ever talked to you about, but it just makes sense. It's a pretty basic one, but it's a fantasy match nonetheless.
Okay.
Well, it's probably happened in a gym somewhere in Texas.
Okay.
But it's never happened in their prime, and that's what I'm going with this. So in case anybody proves me wrong that it's happened before, that's not what I'm saying. How about a little bit of teacher versus student?
I'm interested.
How about we have Shawn Michaels versus Bryan Danielson? And notice I didn't say Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, fuck Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, yes.
Shawn Michaels trained, if for those who don't know, trained a young Bryan Danielson. He actually drove from Aberdeen, Washington, that is where he's from, to San Antonio, Texas, the day after his high school graduation.
He wanted to be a wrestler.
That's what he wanted to be.
Yep.
And, we talked about his second coming. It's so great that he's able to live his dream again. But Shawn Michaels, synonymous with WrestleMania. His nickname is Mr. WrestleMania. He's synonymous with big-time matches and big-time moments. Bryan Danielson is synonymous with pure professional wrestling. To me, this is a standout match of a different styles, but yet two of the biggest hearts that love the business. Shawn Michaels, of course, has some gray areas in his past, but
hashtag lost his smile.
Lost his smile. I'm sure Bret Hart loved that. Loves you loves to hear that. Yeah, I think that's one that I would say a lot of WWE fans, wrestling fans, sports entertainment fans would say like that one makes sense. That one totally is something that they might come up with. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's a no-brainer. And what makes this more interesting for me, you obviously have that teacher versus student dynamic going on, but what makes this match is when the student gets to teach the teacher. And what I mean by that is, of course, Bryan Danielson trained by Shawn Michaels, but at some point, Bryan Danielson, along the way of his career, learned other styles of wrestling that maybe Shawn Michaels didn't. So, and this is before he hit his peak, so
yeah.
He hits his peak, and if we're talking about both of the athletes in their prime, you're dealing with a completely different monster in Bryan Danielson. So I'm excited, and I think Bryan Danielson wins this.
I was going to ask, does student surpass teacher in this one?
In this one, yes. I can't say that for every teacher versus student situation, but this one, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Daniel Bryan makes... I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I said a bad word there. Bryan Danielson makes Shawn Michaels tap out.
Hell yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. He's way too versed from a technical standpoint at that point in his career. Shawn Michaels, again, phenomenal athlete, definitely can go Mr. fucking WrestleMania. I get it, but he stopped learning at some point.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm actually picking post-2002 Shawn Michaels in this match. I just feel that Shawn Michaels was about delivering higher level matches.
Well, yeah, he was in the right headspace to do it, too. Yeah, hell yeah.
So, you and I are going to talk a lot of Shawn Michaels in the near future here. Shawn Michaels, such a weird case where time off was actually the best thing to happen, because Ric Flair said it best. Time off is a wrestler's worst enemy. And for Shawn Michaels, it was the best thing that ever happened to him as far as his wrestling career goes. It was such a breath of fresh air when he came back and you saw this passion for the business.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right, but it makes sense. And I think this is a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Because with Shawn Michaels, the whole reason he lost his smile to begin with, if you if you take any stock in what Bruce Pritchard said on his podcast, he got tired of the business. He didn't want to keep doing what he was doing. He was burnt out. People get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean he had any less passion for the business. He was just burnt out. But being burnt out does funny things to people, and different funny things to different people. You know, for those of you who work a grueling schedule and have been burnt out once or twice in your life, you'll know what I'm talking about. Myself included.
Sure. Time
off, yes. For people like that, for people like myself, I have time off right now, against my wishes, but
sure,
it is a good thing for people like us, and I think that definitely was the case for Shawn Michaels. Sure, he got a lot of flack for just leaving like that, and that will always be like, he will always be remembered for that, at least part of his career.
Sure.
But you can't deny the guy that came back as being super passionate about the business. You can't deny him that. Not at all. So I would have picked the same version of Shawn Michaels, because to me that is his prime.
Yeah.
So makes sense. Total sense.
I mean, the Showstopper versus the American Dragon, that pretty much, that writes itself.
It should. It should.
And, you know, sometimes fantasy booking, ladies and gentlemen, is sometimes you got to dig a little bit. And that's why we love doing this. That's why we really want to hear your fantasy bookings, because there's so many out there. There's
so many.
We can't even come close to doing, if we did a 5-hour episode, we wouldn't come close. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, it's just so many out there, and really, really intrigued by what you guys have to say. And
we are watching ECW Hardcore Heaven 97 on the WWE Network. I don't want to do this pitch again, but 20x20crew.com/podcast/WWE Network. If you don't have a subscription, there, I said it. I think there's a lot to be said when it comes to Shawn Michaels. We probably will be doing an episode dedicated to him and him only. I would love to do that episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on board.
I'm glad that you brought him up, because he is one of those like special cases where it's like he did bloom towards the end of his career, and that doesn't happen for a lot of guys, you know. And time off for him was a good thing, not a bad thing, you know. And I get where Ric Flair is coming from, because for most guys it is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, him coming from where he came from. Time off meant you weren't getting paid.
Sure.
And things like that.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah, a lot different financial circumstances for those guys. You can catch us on Instagram at instagram.com/20x20crew. You can catch us on Twitter at 20x20crew. You can catch us on Facebook, facebook.com/20x20crew, facebook.com/groups/20x20talk, or you can visit our website, 20x20crew.com.
And until next week, we will
see you in the ring.